That's you shooting, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Two Walmart employees are dead.
Two Walmart employees killed. The shooter just identified, recently suspended by Walmart.
Imagine your parents working at Walmart. You believe it's a haven of safety. But what happens when this seemingly simple place turns into a bloodbath? In July 2019, the local Walmart in Southaven, Mississippi, turned into a scene of unimaginable sorrow. Two people lost their lives. Anthony Brown and Brandon Gale, the store managers. The kids of these two fathers will never see them again. The reason? Martez Abram. He shot his colleagues in cold blood. But soon he was arrested and sentenced to death for his crime. But what made him commit this horrendous act? This is his story.
God will forgive you of your sins, and He is the only one that can save your soul.
Martez Abram was seemingly an ordinary man. He had no criminal records or any history of misconduct. In fact, he had been working at that very Walmart for over 25 years before this tragic incident. He went there every day and only took one day off in the entire month. But soon after this incident, multiple reports started to emerge, stating that he had been having issues at the store. However, there weren't any details provided. So what could have led him to do such a horrible thing? Things started going downhill for Martez when he showed a knife to a coworker during his shift. While working at the store, Martez Abram had a spat with one of his fellow employees. He showed him a knife in his belt. The employee got scared and reported Abram. For obvious reasons, this act led to his suspension from the store. After working there for years, he was suspended on July 27th, and then fired on July 29th. According to Abram, when he was suspended, he felt shocked and didn't remember much from that day. He admitted to having a dispute with another employee, and being called into a meeting with that employee and Anthony Brown. Heartbroken, Martez Abram had one single thought in mind: revenge. Imagine the emotional toll of dedicating years to a job only to be dismissed over a single error. Was this misstep forgivable, or do you think that his termination was justified? Is possessing a knife really a big issue? On July 30th, 2019, the tragic event unfolded around 6:30 a.m. when the Southaven police received reports of a shooter at a Walmart near the Tennessee border. Driven with anger, Abram went on a violent spree, killing two fellow employees, Anthony Brown, age 40, and Brandon Gales, age 38. The same employees, seemingly responsible for his job loss. He also injured an officer. Luckily, the officer was saved by his vest. Abram was eventually apprehended. According to officials, Gales was found dead in the parking lot, whereas Brown was found dead inside the store.
Two Walmart employees are dead after a disgruntled former employee opened fire in the Southaven store.
Officers confronted Martez Abram in the parking lot. A gunfire exchange took place between Abram and the officers. As a result, Abram was wounded by 2 gunshots and had surgery at the hospital.
Southaven police officer and the alleged shooter were injured.
In response to the incident, the Southaven police requested assistance from the Bureau of ATF to search Abram's apartment. The aftermath of this tragic event involved a series of swift actions by law enforcement agencies to secure the area and gather the necessary evidence.
And my wife said, "Is that a gunshot?" I said, "It's either a gunshot or somebody's run over a Coke bottle."
During the attack, a 70-year-old customer named Phil Cox narrowly avoided encountering the shooter. He and others had just left the store when gunshots rang out. Cox saw the shooter sprinting into the store and realized how close they were to danger. How would you have felt in this situation? While workers of the store got a sigh of relief when Abram was caught, hell fell loose on the victims' families. 2 lives had been lost forever. Both the victims were hardworking people, just like anyone else, trying to support their families through their jobs. Brandon Gales had been a Walmart employee for more than 15 years and had recently been promoted to department manager. Anthony Brown, a father of 2 and native of Mississippi, was the store manager. The pain and the shock must have been shattering. Martez Abram's trial took place on Thursday, December 1st, 2022.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Martez Abram, guilty of capital murder in count 1.
The jury found him guilty of 2 murders and 1 attempted murder. In a surprise twist, Abram's face was plastered with guilt. Standing before the jury, he admitted to what he did on that fateful day.
You shot me again? Yes.
While watching footage of himself shooting Brandon Gales, Abram appeared unsettled, disgusted, and horrified. When asked by the jury if he had committed the murders, he accepted his crimes.
Yes. That's you shooting him? Yes.
In court today, Abram told the juries that he takes responsibility for his actions.
Abram went on to reveal that he drove up to Walmart with an AK rifle and body armor in his truck. After shooting his victims, he tried to cover his acts by setting the store on fire. He committed arson. Another police officer, who survived the attack, was also shot. The prosecution showcased evidence, including scars on Abram's hands from setting the fire. They questioned him about his actions, asking if he intended to set himself on fire too. Defense attorney John Keith Perry argued that the case didn't meet the criteria for capital murder. He suggested a second-degree murder verdict instead. Eventually, the jury found Abram guilty of 2 counts of capital murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
Jury just found that man, Martez Abram, guilty of killing 2 Walmart workers.
The prosecution asserted that Abram killed Brown and Gales and committed arson to cover up evidence and flee the crime scene. They revealed his list with items like gasoline, a container, and a rental car. They also showed weaponry, indicating his preparation. Abram claimed he had the guns due to safety concerns at work and a previous car break-in. He explained that he was suspended from work before the shooting, and his memory went blank on the day of the incident.
In count 1, I will sentence you to death. In count 2, you will be sentenced to death. In count 3, you will be sentenced to life.
The prosecution and defense now moved to the next phase, discussing sentencing for the charges. The jury ultimately sentenced Abram to death, raising questions about his mental state and the sentence's validity. His younger sister spoke at the hearing, shedding light on his withdrawal from family. The exact date of his execution is yet to be decided. Martez's case is like a puzzle, just as tricky as understanding how people think. The case raises essential queries about Abram's mental health and the justification for the death sentence. Do you believe Abram had signs of a mental health issue? Or did he commit these murders in cold blood to satisfy his ego and to get revenge? Is his sentence justified? Share your thoughts in the comments.